Alright, what's up guys? We have a lot to tackle tonight. We have two options of working on the pit bike or the LTR 450. We got our bearings in and for the quad, and then we actually got our brakes and our gasket in for the pit bike. We had chains for both of them already, and we ordered from Faster Minis, which they hooked us up with a couple extra stickers there. But pretty much I think what we're going to do tonight is we're going to work on the pit bike. We already got our new fresh tire mounted on. Got some fresh grips on there. It's a M32, I believe. Oh, 33 Dunlop, which is more of a softer compound tire, which will be good out there for traction, but it may wear a little faster on the rocks and all that stuff, but not really a big deal. It'll be really grippy, which will be good for this bike. So we got that. We got our front and rear brakes we got to do. Throw a fresh chain on. We got an oil change to do. A couple little finer details, cleaning the air filter and stuff like that. And then this thing will be ready to go. So we are probably going to work on this later, early in the week, since it's just the front bearings that we got to do, which never done those before, so hopefully that's not too much of a chore. And just a fresh chain on the back, and this thing will be ready to get out of here. It'll be done. Oh, and we did end up buying a front bumper for it, which I will show you that in the video when we go to work on that. So we're gonna get these wheels and start cleaning up the inside hubs. Here you can still see there's still a little bit. It's probably not too much we could do on that, just as far as the stuff that we have being just steel wool and maybe you know, actually I got sandpaper. I could probably level it out better with maybe a sandpaper, but a little texture like that, what's going to happen is that's what's going to eat your brake pads up a little bit more. Another thing to watch for if you are doing this is, you know, like I said, we go kind of in the mud and all that, so our big thing is sometimes we pop tires out there when we bounce on rocks and stuff like that. So when we do tire changes, we kind of forget sometimes, but you'll get a little coat of dirt in here, and it's really hard to clean anything where we're at because there's no running water or anything like that, so you're kind of washing them out in the creek, or you know, bottles of water. You're doing what you can. But anyways, so dirt gets caked in here, and then when you go to put your whole brake assembly back on, it leaves a little crease, which actually causes, you know, letting mud and water go back in here, and then pretty much you get crud and water, and you're mashing down on the brakes trying to get, you know, any kind of traction inside of there, you know, to lock up that wheel, and you're just tearing up your pad. I mean, obviously that's how this got, you know, so rusty, is the water and all that being in there. So we clean this all up here, so hopefully that should seat on real nicely. Alright guys, we just finished the front wheel here, and this one is actually only the first time we've changed the brakes, while like this time is the first time. Well, we've already done the back before, and the back obviously getting more use and all that. That's why it's probably a little bit more tore up back there. But I was thinking about the sandpaper thing I talked to you guys about earlier, and I don't think that'd be a good idea. Maybe, you'd have to use a very, low grit, sandpaper, because you don't want to be chewing this up. I don't even know if you can. I don't even think you could replace these here. So you don't really want to be sanding on this thing and making it uneven. Your best bet is just to get it as clean as you can, I would assume, and put your brake pads on. You're going to get plenty of grip still. It's going to work good. Like I said, the only thing with this, when you start getting a little roughness, it's probably going to chew up your brake pads a little faster. But if you ever price one of these wheels, they're really expensive. They're almost the same. I think they were the same as buying like a brand new 450 rim. So, in my opinion, it's not even really worth it. You're better off spending 30 bucks on, a set of brakes. I think that's what I don't got the receipt, but yeah, I don't think I was 30 bucks for front and back. So you're better off just doing your brakes, and it's good practice anyways and all that, as far as making sure you got a fresh set on there. You can see that these were pretty roached. They aren't much on there, but yeah, they're used up. We had already adjusted them and all that. So, all right, we're gonna start with the front first. I'm gonna get these pads off, and I'm gonna lube that up, and we're gonna put this thing together. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you how to do this real quick here. So you have your little arm here, and you have that bolt going through. You're gonna want to, if you could hear it on the video, it doesn't sound the smoothest. Now, obviously, we can see a bunch of crud around it. So you take that off, and this will push right out. And you can see all the mud in there, all the grime. So we're just gonna clean that out real quick. Just keep doing that. Put a nice little grease in there. When you're done, keep that running smooth and all that. That's just another way. If that keeps working its way, grinding like that, you're just gonna cause that to gain slop, and then another passage for possible water and all that stuff to make its way in. So we're gonna clean that real quick, put it back together, grease everything, and we'll be good to go for the front. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you real quick on how to put these on the easy way. So what you're going to want to do is put a spring hooked in there like that, and then take your pad like that and pull it flush like that, which actually I might not. You're going to hook your other one in there just like that, and then you're going to have to maneuver it a little bit. Oop. Let me redo that one. Okay. So, again, you're gonna Alright, we're a little rusty. So make sure that's all set, and all you're going to do is you're going to do one at a time. You pull it, put it across that, pull it apart again, and you're on there. So this is especially helpful if you don't actually have a design tool for to pull these springs apart. And even then, when you do have the right tool, it can be kind of sketchy. So that's pretty much, you can see I got some of that old solvent on my hand. So, but anyways, so that's how you do that. We're gonna do the back the same way. I do recommend doing a little brake clean on there, just because you had your fingers probably all over those pads. Not that it's gonna be a big deal. And just like with our hub here, we were using solvent in there, which probably that tank probably has some oil and everything. So we're gonna just give her a little juice there, make sure she's good, wipe her down with a clean rag, So I grease our little axle here we have and all that. And another thing that I did learn, I'd put my arm on too early, and then I realized that I thought I had to have it on a certain position. So it's probably just going to be easier putting this on once everything's on so that I can position it right for my brake and all that. So, alright, we're going to get at her. Alright, so two things, guys. One, you cannot put this arm on once you put it inside the actual hub and start bolting the wheel on, because it'll be on the way back here on the back of your fork. So make sure that your arm is already set in place. Two, on how to set your arm, make sure, this seems like going to be the easiest way, make sure your adjustment on here is all the way up, or most of the way. You can leave a little room for adjustment, and then set your arm into place. Now what's that's going to do, it's going to give you maximum adjustment from now on. Actually, I take that back. You want to give yourself a little room up here, just so, judging on maybe the length of the cable, it might depend and might affect you hooking up here. So try to, I guess, go a little bit down, leave a little bit room for back and forth adjustment. But regardless, it's going to give you maximum adjustment. So if you are, you know, stuck in the woods or whatever, you're on a trip, it's going to leave you room to actually adjust both of these here. With your one that you could adjust on the fly, and then the other one you could adjust when you get back to the trailer, but keeping you from having to take this all off, reposition the pitch on your arm. So best to try to find a good medium ground, which is actually what we've been doing here for the last couple minutes, just figuring out what's best. So I think we got it dialed now. Hopefully I'm right on this. Like I said, this is the first time us doing brakes on this bike, so don't replace a lot of front brakes, mainly rear brakes. So alright guys, so we finally got it together and adjusted. And one of the things that you have to do is that when you're putting this arm on, you're going to want it to drop a little bit below your drum here, just so when you hook this cable up, you're kind of already pulling a little tension on it before you even start adjusting. So as you can see here, we got it pretty dialed in as far as our adjustment. We still have plenty left down here, and we still have all the adjustment up here. So a good way to adjust this too is when you're tightening that down there, you're pulling on that lever, you should kind of go by how your wheel's spinning and all that. And once you feel it start dragging, that's when you know to, you know, back off just a smudge. Instead of keep on testing your lever and all that and seeing, you know, it's a lot easier just to go that route. Unless, see, I like my brakes touchy too, is probably part of the thing. So I'm not going to be able to really show you, but I mean, they're nice, they're tight. So we got the front done now. We are going to go to the back and get those done, which we've done the back already a couple times. We've done a lot of back brakes on this type of drum setup, so this should not take long. And then from there we will probably put our fresh chain on, and then judging on time and all that, I may make a second video on how to clean your clutch fibers, but we're gonna see what happens here. Alright guys, so I did kind of run ahead here a little bit. So I showed you guys the front. The back, you know, is the same thing as far as how I showed you with the springs for the pads. You know, we cleaned everything up. Same. I did notice one of my bearings on this side starting to get a little hiccup in them. This side was fine, so I just sprayed it with some oil, and I threw some extra grease on the spacer here. It's still, you know, spins absolutely fine, but we are going to make sure we order up our backup bearing just in case something happens when we're on a trip. But shouldn't be a big deal. Just we don't want to wait on parts. We want to get this, you know, hammered out and mention how beefy that tire is looking on this little pit bike. That is going to be a ripper. So, alright, I'm pretty pumped about that. We did not adjust our brakes yet. One of the key things when you do take this back tire off, or when you're doing this stuff, is, yeah, this nut right here where you see my fingers at, loosen it up just a little bit. It's going to let this whole thing pivot down to make everything easier for you. We haven't tightened it back up yet, and we haven't tightened this. And we are going to put our chain on right now and get that all set in. And after that, we'll tighten everything up, take this off the stand, and then work on our rear brake. And why? Alright guys, so we got our chain all hooked up, dialed in. It was already a pre-fit chain, which is nice. So we didn't have to cut any links out of it. So it went right on there. One thing that you might notice, I didn't buy the aftermarket cover yet, or the guard, but on the stock units here, they come with like a big plastic cover, and all that does is that when we're riding, it just keeps packing mud in here. So all you're doing is you're running your chain through a pile of mud and probably a little rock right caked in here every time it goes around and around. So at least this way it allows a little bit more for it to come out, and also it allows, as far as when you go to clean it, you know, to be able to pressure washer it out and actually get in there real good. So we got our good chain, you know, length. It will stretch out a little bit, but we got enough adjustment now for it to go out, and she should fire right up. With no choke and everything. I might not even have to, yeah, we'll probably still clean our air filter, and we gotta check our clutches out. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. We got our front brakes done, we got our rear brakes done. That is showing off our little light bar there again, some of our lights, but she's looking pretty crisp. Like I said, Faster Minis hooked us up. They did a great job. I mean, they got us the parts here quick, good parts, and also a big shout out to Dano hooking us up with this tire. Always taking care of us at B&E Honda in Valparaiso. They got that tire on same day, within an hour. So they knocked it out for us because we needed to get it done fast. And yeah, came out real nice. Had the tire in stock and everything. So that's about it for today's video. We'll be making a second video on how to clean your clutch fibers. So we gotta do that, and an oil change and clean our filter in the next video. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. We also got the Suzuki, remember that. So both those videos will be coming next week. Alright, thanks for watching.